Hello, everybody. This is Dwayne Musino reading out live. Well, it's live for me right now, but when you get this, I hope you enjoy it. It's a little short story I wrote, the second one called A Yellow Rose. A Yellow Rose. In 1968, a milkman places an ordinary bottle of milk on a doorstep and leaves. He looked in his rearview mirror and shook his head as he took the corner and smiled. The sun peeked over the mountain and the farm came to life. The farmer rose from his bed and showered. The family ate breakfast and started the morning chores. Philip awoke his snoring teenager as he raised the shades of his windows. Pierre was 17 years old and had an athletic build from years of hard work with Dad. His mother worked as a town librarian. She worked long hours, and only on the weekends did she join the family on an afternoon ride through the countryside to church services. In a very fancy carriage her father had purchased, a stubborn, fiery 16-year-old girl argued with her parents as they rounded a farm on the way to pick up her mother from the airport on the far side of town. As she argued, she noticed a field of pretty flowers of all colors. Dawn was forbidden to travel to these areas because of her stature, being the daughter of well-to-do parents and well known in their community. Well, today is Sunday, and she was excited as she saw the flowers. She pleaded with her parents to stop, but the car passed by, and Dawn promised herself she would return to this field of flowers someday. The two cars were headed in opposite directions, one north to church, the other south to the airport. As they passed each other, both Pierre and Dawn saw a glimpse of each other for the first time as they rode by. Through closed windows, Dawn had gold hair, blue eyes, and an attractive smile. After church, Pierre had a beautiful gold vision on his mind. He vowed he would be hers forever somehow. Pierre's uncle Eb in town owned a milk company. Soon he sent to Pierre to go to work for him as a driver. As time passed, 2 years, Pierre moved up as a delivery driver to work special routes and better wages, which worked into his plans nicely. He was single and lonely with only a golden smile to motivate his day in memory of her in the fancy carriage on Sunday long ago. Dawn lived in the mountains in upper Alabama in a big mansion with a long driveway that curves down the mountain. Her family was raising an infant born to the mother only 6 months earlier, so clothes and food were necessary for bringing up a child. And awaits a delivery driver with a fresh new delivery of milk every day. Eb started Pierre on his new route immediately Monday morning, stating very important clients get special service. Dawn was bored with TV and the baby crying and decided to get the daily delivery of milk herself. Pierre saw his last appointment was on a dirt road that went up a mountainside and speeded to hurry the drop. Eb questioned on the CB base station on the deliveries, with him being new and all. Dawn saw the delivery truck coming up the hill and motioned Pierre to stop. They looked at each other in wonderment, and Pierre's face suddenly changed in surprise. He remembered this girl from somewhere. Dawn looked him over and was amazed he remembered her. It was only 2 years since she saw a well-built guy with brown eyes looking at her through a window on the way to the airport. She raised her hand, and Pierre prayed secretly she wouldn't let go of his hand. He didn't want to lose her now that he found her again. He shook her hand and reached for 3 bottles of fresh milk and walked it to her front door. On the way, they bonded as friends, talking and smiling together. They were both happy at last. As Pierre entered his truck, Dawn and he agreed on a date, the coming Wednesday at 8 p.m. for dinner. Dawn's eyes glowed with new hope. She was no longer bored. She had plans to make for Wednesday night. She sped into the house with the milk. On Wednesday night, the two met in a fancy downtown restaurant. Pierre's wages barely cut it, so both agreed to split the bill. During the night, Dawn told Pierre of her desire or promise to see the wonderful field of flowers she had seen from her parents' coach one Sunday. After dinner, they kissed and drove Dawn home. She asked him if he enjoyed being with animals. Pierre then told her that his parents owned a farm in the countryside with many animals. They planned a picnic for Saturday afternoon near his farm, and Dawn swore, with or without her parents' permission's consent, she would be there. They came to the meeting spot, and Dawn realized where she was and found Pierre beside his truck, which he borrowed from work to make it. He had chosen a nice site near a wooden covered bridge with tall trees and a full running stream, all new to Dawn, who was awed. Dawn sat down and unfolded the blanket for the food and told Pierre how she wanted to see the field of flowers as a kid of 17, and her temper flared anger towards her parents on that day. Pierre put his hand in hers and said, "Love lasts forever, but you have hair gold as the sun and a temper as a thorn. So I'll call you my rare yellow rose." They ate and talked the better part of the day and planned someday to marry, if they could persuade their parents to consent. Pierre drove her to his farm. On the way, they passed a field of flowers and stopped. Dawn jumped out and leaped into the flowers and smelled their scents. Meanwhile, Pierre called her to a place hidden from view behind the field where tall trees start. He motioned for Dawn to look down in the bushes. She kneeled and found a yellow rose bush. Pierre said, "I found it as a child, and now it's a reminder of you." There were only two roses in the bush. Pierre pointed up at the treetop above the bush, and Dawn saw a white owl sitting in the tree. At the top, Pierre answered her question, "Yes, I love animals, and I now love you." They kissed, and he handed her a yellow rose, and he drove away in the delivery truck to return it at the shop. Dawn saw a storm moving in fast and got in her car and drove home, eyeing her rose happily. Pierre was caught in the storm. Rain was pounding his windshield, and the wind was swaying his truck side to side. Just as he gained control of the wheel, dust blew over the road and he no longer could see out. As he pressed the brake, he skid into a ditch at 60 miles an hour. When he was found later, they rushed him to the hospital. He had passed on due to internal injuries. Dawn was heartbroken for a long time to follow. She had lost in one night a lifetime. Pierre died and was buried 3 days ago. She couldn't bear to watch long. The next night, a storm came in around the same as the one that took her Pierre 4 days earlier. She sulked with memories and grief until it passed. The next morning, she braved herself to go to Pierre's grave. She remembered handing him one yellow rose before he died in the hospital room. When she arrived at the cemetery, no one was there. She saw his tombstone and walked closer. There she saw the white owl from the bush sitting atop of the tombstone. And he saw her and lifted his wings and flew up into the sky high above the trees. She looked back down at the tombstone, and atop the stone sat one yellow rose. Dawn broke down in tears on her knees as she read the tombstone face. Love lasts forever. A Yellow Rose, written by Duane Musino, finished 12:15 a.m., November 2nd, 1996. Hope you enjoyed The Yellow Rose, A Yellow Rose. That was story number 2 that I wrote in 1996. And the next one's going to be called the God's Garden, a Tree Story. I'll do that in the next 1 to 2 days when everybody had a chance to read this one, A Yellow Rose. And I do these stories because I like to do them for free so everybody can enjoy them and have a good time reading them. So I hope you enjoy it, everybody. Give me a check, give me a follow, and enjoy everything for free. As I do it, you can read it for free. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Ending the video right now. Till the next one.